Alrighty then, we've switched out our map. As you can see, we have a larger map so that you can see the boundaries a little bit better. Probably to your vision, this top portion is cut off a little bit, which is okay. I hope the top portion of my head isn't cut off for you because that can be distracting. We'll see. But the main thing is the map. So we're going to get going on the map now. So really, we're going to start below the Saharan Desert, which is here. As you can see, this is the continent of Africa. We have two major water bodies to look at here. This is Atlantic off of the west coast, going all the way down. And we have the Indian Ocean going all the way down off the east coast. This is known as the Horn of Africa, the famous Horn of Africa that to me looks like a rhinoceros horn. We have Great Lakes area right here, and the Great Lake Victoria. We have Lake Tanganyika and Lake Malawi right here. And this is the Rift Valley area, very beautiful. We're going to make this map very, very simple. I'll select a few cities. Dakar, to focus on. Nairobi. Cape Town. Johannesburg. And let's see, maybe one more. How about Lagos? Okay, let's demystify the regions a little bit because with Africa, like Europe, there's a lot of countries, but unlike Europe, we haven't heard of some of these. So it gets a little challenging for students because a lot of these countries haven't been heard of. And not only that, there is that transition zone, which is confusing to a lot of people. And it's confusing to geographers too. Maybe not confusing, but I will say changing. And so whenever you have something changing, it's delineated one way in a book one semester, and then a few semesters later it's going to change, it's going to be different. And really the transition zone right now is shifting downwards. So we'll try to demystify that wiggly transition zone for you also. And basically what we have is 4 solid regions that have countries in them. So we will focus on those. We'll focus on the 4 regions, and the 5th region is the transition zone. So think of it this way, the 4 regions have distinct countries in them. The transition zone is a moving zone. Okay, hope that helps a little to start with. Let's go ahead and show where they are. Okay, transition zone, again, is up here. And it's hash marks. You can think of it as an overlay to other countries that are in different regions. Okay, so this is West Africa. The states in this region are Equatorial Africa. This is Southern Africa. And this is East Africa. The only 2 countries that are not in any of those 4 regions and are only in the transition zone, only, and not in any other regions, are Somalia and Djibouti. Right here, this little Djibouti. Again, Somalia looks like it's this part of the horn, and Djibouti is a little bite, looks like a little bite out of Ethiopia. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through the countries. You can do it. You can even say it aloud with me, okay? So we have West Africa right here. And then starting, West Africa, starting at the top and going along the coast. We have Senegal. We have this little one that looks like a bite out of Senegal, which is called Gambia. We have Guinea-Bissau. We have Guinea. We have Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, and Benin, and Nigeria. Then we have one that is landlocked called Burkina Faso, and it's the only one in West African region that is landlocked, okay? We have some partial ones, but we'll talk about those with transition zone. Those are the states that are considered to be in West Africa. So let's move on to Equatorial Africa. Oh, and the key state, for Africa, we like to announce the key states right away. Can you guess? It's Nigeria. Okay, now we're going to go to Equatorial Africa. Key state, Congo. Congo, again, this map is dated. It's known as DR Congo today, Democratic Republic of Congo. This is DR Congo. This is, again, this is an older map, so I have to decipher a little bit. We're not going to do the microstates, just the major states. So we do have Congo right here, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, which also has a little island there, Cameroon, which is on the border with Nigeria. So that's the edge between West Africa and Equatorial Africa is Cameroon, is inside Equatorial Africa. And also there is Central African Republic, which is north of Congo here. Okay, so that is Equatorial Africa. We have Southern Africa, located in the southern portion of Africa. And again, when you go south of the equator, it's just like South America. As you go south, it is getting colder and colder. So this is a far cooler climate by the time you get down to the southern tip of Africa. So let's go ahead and do the states, run through them for Southern Africa. We have Angola, we have Zambia, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Mozambique. And we have, is Malawi in East Africa, or is it in Southern Africa? It's in East Africa. So we have Mozambique and Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Angola. What about Madagascar? That's another one. Actually, Madagascar can be considered transitional between Southern Africa and East Africa, but we will place it in East Africa because we will put the states, each of these states, inside one of the regions. And so even though it's transitional and shows crosshatches on a lot of maps, Madagascar will fit into East Africa. And in a minute we're going to talk about, I like to, early on also, try to point out the major differences between these regions and why many geographers agree as to which regions each state fits into at the moment. There's reasons, and we like to put out those reasons pretty quickly so that you can make that mental map of, oh, this is why we place these in this region. This is why we place these in this region. So let's go ahead and run through those that are in East Africa. Are you ready? Let's start down at the bottom where it's a little bit easier. Madagascar, and then this border state, Tanzania, and Malawi. Malawi reaches down with this Great Lake. It's part of the Great Lakes, which is why it's in this region. Tanzania, we have Burundi and Rwanda, we have Kenya and Uganda, and as we said before, there's Ethiopia, but Djibouti and Somalia are only in transition zone. So again, taking from the top, we have in this, considered to be in East African region, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and Malawi. In some places, Malawi is even put in East Africa, and in some places we'll place it into Southern Africa. But I'm going to place it in with East Africa because of the Great Lakes. And again, I'll go through the Great Lakes, which are in East Africa. Lake Victoria, Tanganyika, and Malawi. There's also Lake Turkana up here. And so this is the high plateau. These are the high mountains too of Ethiopia, which are the origination of this Nile waters. These feeders to the Nile, and the Nile again going towards the north. So this is the headwaters of the Nile